There's a guy just like me doing commentary at the finals. Sounds suspicious. It could be anybody. It could be everybody. Anyway, hopefully you all tuned into the event. Check that out. It was a fun time. There was a 4-person desk that we did where Ringe was the host and then the rest of us were on there. We were on the desk from noon to 8. Our mics were on the whole time. Anytime I wasn't working, I was just sitting there watching the matches quietly. It did come up in the sense that there was like the match where it was Gobo and he switched from Gold Lewis to Zato and Ringe and I just tagged in the middle of the match. But yeah, we were just chilling on the desk for 8 hours. So it was a long show. Hopefully you all enjoyed the character intros. I thought that they were so much cooler than if they had just been like, hey guys, here's this person and they're just doing the esports pose and crossing their arms. Doing the Calvados, powerful. My favorite part about the Goichi one, he goes to throw the wind, right? Like right here, like look, the scarf is just falling in this shot and they have to cut before the scarf just completely falls. That was my favorite thing. They were like, all right, perfect timing. I'm a big fan. Yeah, the sword. The best part is that all the players were down, right? This is the best one, I think. I don't know, Nanpon really just went all the way. The run at the end is like so broken. It's just too powerful. Like this, I enjoyed that part a lot. And in general, there was not a lot of downtime in this show, really, right? Which I think was also nice. We were going about as fast as the players could get set up. I was exhausted during the show. I slept like 2 hours the night before. I don't know why, I just couldn't sleep. It's probably not obvious. I think I'm pretty functional. The show is so long, there was one point where, you know, the commentary pairs were scheduled, even though we were all sitting at the desk. We had a rotation still, and people could jump in if they want. There was just like one point where James forgot that he was not on, and just like 3 of us were commentating at the same time. In the middle of commentary, James was just like, I'm not supposed to be here. And he just like covered his mouth and was like, oh my God, whoops. It's easy to forget when you've been on the desk for like 8 hours straight and the rotation is just in your mind. So I mentioned that the finals were from noon to 8, right? We showed up at 9 a.m. for rehearsals and getting ready. The only break in the show was if DNF Duel finished on time. We had a break from the time DNF Duel ended until 4 p.m. for Guilty Gear, right? DNF Duel was going long. We were like, uh-oh, are we just not gonna have a break? And then Goichi just beat the shit out of everybody in top 3. And we were like, all right, well. So we ended right on time. We have a break for 30 minutes. And it's like, this is our meal time for the day. And I'm like, all right, so we got a break. Like, where's the catering? Was it like in there or something? I remember there being catering in one of the rooms. And they were like, catering for you guys? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, someone else is supposed to get you food and I will find that out. So then cue, like everybody's looking around and they're like, there's no food. And keep in mind, we have a 30-minute break for the day. Every second that goes by is a second of eating time that's evaporating. At the end, like 5 minutes before we have to go back on, they're like, there's no food. Somebody was supposed to get you food. I don't know what happened. There's no food for you guys. We'll order you food. She was like, you know, there's a really nice Mexican place I went to last night. Steve was like, yo, they got Shake Shack delivery here. And then we ordered Shake Shack. They're like, yeah, it's going to show up in the middle of the show though. So what you guys are going to have to do is when someone is not commentating, you can just come back here and eat. You know, tournament's going. There's a match that's about to start. And then me and Steve are not on commentary. So like, all right, you guys can go eat. Now, in my brain, I'm like, okay, this shouldn't be a problem. It's Zondo versus TY. By the time I made it backstage to the food, it was like 2-0. TY is cooking. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I was like, well, they don't really need us on the desk because the next match is also commentated by James and Ringe. And like Steve and I, like we don't really have to go back in theory, right? Our burgers are there and some fries. I got some cheese fries. So I have a couple of fries, pop the lid on the cheese. I grab the burger. I'm like, finally, food. I'm so hungry. I take a bite of the burger. Delicious. I'm mid-chew and I just hear a noise to my left and I look and Daisuke walks in the room. And I'm like, oh shit. What up? Like, how goes it? We're like, hey, me and Steve were like mad hype. We're like, what up? It's Daisuke, let's go. And then him and the other Arxis employee are like, what's good? And they're like, can we get a picture? Like, we want to take some pictures. We're like, dude, let's do it. Yeah. So we put our burgers down. We go take our picture and we're like, dude, that was sick. It says 2-0 right back there. You can see it, right? 2-0. Shake Shack right here. Daisuke is so cool, man. And I go to grab my burger. I take one more bite. And I'm just like, oh, this burger is really... And the minute I begin to ruminate on how delicious this food is, bang, another knock on the door. Hey, it's 2-1. You guys got to get out there. We're not commentating the next match. You can't just... And they're like, no, you got to go right now. So then I'm like, all right. So I put the burger down and we ran to the stage. They're like, you guys got to run right now. So we ran all the way back to the stage, got to the stage, like as the camera was cutting. And then the next match begins. And then they're like, all right, so if you guys want to go get food, you guys can go. So we run back all the way out there and I have like one more bite of my burger. Then I have to come back again. And then I have to commentate the next like 6 games. So that was my meal for the tournament. And I'll tell you what, if that burger was sat on when I came back, and if I was starving, I might not have eaten it, but I can say I wouldn't have thought about it. I didn't finish the burger, no. I swear, I don't know what was happening in this building. Every time we would have had a time for a break, I would go to the bathroom, and the bathroom by where we sat was like a single. Like one person goes in and it locks. Every single break, I tried to use that bathroom, and somebody was in it. So then I would walk away, and then I would hear the door open as I got back to the room. So then I would walk out there and go again. And then they'd be like, you guys are on in 60 seconds. Got to get back out there. This would happen every time. It was like just the cursed burger. It's probably still sitting there to this day. But despite that, it was still a really fun show. Honestly, I think almost every other finals I've worked in my life, for almost every game, has been way more of a shit show. I think this tournament seemed like it went pretty smooth for the most part. How many of you guys, your worldview about Guilty Gear Strive has changed now that Chip and Geo and Soul and like these characters that was the finals of the tournament? Are you guys all like, dude, Soul's the best, Geo's the best? Happy Chaos last place in the tournament must be bad. Watching this tournament, it didn't change my opinion about any characters at all. I watched the tournament and was like, yep, that makes sense. And I think if it changes your opinion, what's going to happen in the next tournament when Happy Chaos and Nago win or something, right? Are you just going to be like, turns out Soul bad guy sucks, and Happy Chaos and Nago are the best? All this shows me is that Mochi and TY are simply the best, which when I watched their matches a long time ago, and when I watched the qualifier, the Japan qualifier, the one where TY won, I was like, yeah, these two are probably the favorites. I think that they seemed like they were the strongest players to me. Soul is quite a strong character. He's a really good tournament character. And I think if you don't believe in him, it's probably because you're used to the characters that give him a bad time being so popular in tournament, right? Characters like Happy Chaos or Nago. Like you're used to these characters just beating Soul in tournament and stuff, but he's a really good tournament character. He's really, really consistent in terms of reward for the hits that he has. He has good neutral. He has some of the best air fake out options in the game. Very few other characters can approach in the air as consistently as Soul and beat anti-airs, and his damage is so high. So yeah, I mean, he's a good character. He's got plenty of bad matchups, like Nago, which is why he just died round 1. There's like even a world where Neubenheimer beats Mochi there, beats him again, and then beats Skill because it's Soul, and then he plays TY. But sometimes he's just the best. And they just played better in this tournament, is the truth. Also, neither of them had to even think about playing against Happy Chaos because Umisho lost to Tempest and then lost to Zondo. Yeah, and both were 3-2 sets, right? I mean, that could have went either way. I had asked a bunch of people before the tournament, and basically everybody had told me that their sets with almost everybody were pretty even. I think what it proves, which is what everybody knows about this game, is that a lot of characters are capable of winning. Have you not watched Mochi this whole time? Like it's been doing this literally the whole time. If you don't watch tournaments outside of NA, then maybe you don't believe. I don't know how to break it to you. It's not just the look, Soul can win. It's like your character can also win. Okay, let's talk about announcements. This trailer is old, right? It had this similar opening. There's not much in here. There's like a couple of moves, some projectiles, the dash, and we know that she can dash in 8 directions. That's cool. Both characters can dash in 8 directions. Weird. And there's Spectre. This is a season pass roadmap. This character is in summer. And then there's another character in fall, another character in winter. And then 2 more characters in 2024. This is not what I expected. I assumed like Spectre was gonna come, and I was like, are they gonna have any other things? It's pretty wild because this game came out in the summer of last year, right? I thought it would be way faster. They also announced their new modes too. So they announced that there's the Awakening mode, which is when you're low on life in this game, you get access to new stuff. There's a new version of the Awakening with the Cube mode. One of it is at like 50% life, and it's like a weaker access to it, but it happens earlier. And then there's still the traditional one that's like 30% life, but it's even stronger. I mean, my assumption also is that this game will be on the next tour for Arc World Tour, right? Like this game, they're still going to support it. There's going to be a tour with money for it next year, I'm sure, right? All right, next. This trailer. The character we all expected. I do like the theme. You know what's sick is before the bed hit, I was like, damn, they really have Delilah as a character, huh? What is she even gonna do? Like, how does she fight? And then the bed hit, and I was like, okay, that's tight. Yeah, she's just vibing in the background while the bed does all the work.
Ways to ruin my head.
The air dash, bro. Thank you, Sin, for doing reversal 6-8. They show the air dash so much, by the way. I think like almost everything is just the bed doing air dash over and over. Yeah, so the character is the bed, right? Your bed man, because bed man is in the bed, right? And like the character getting on it or not is basically just like she gets on it or she walks around or whatever, but you're the bed, which to me is way cooler than what I expected, which was Delilah using the bed so it's like a summon or like some other thing. It's cool. She has all these cool reaction poses to everything that's happening. I can kind of see why this character took them a bit of extra time, no? I imagine it would be very easy for this to get fucked up and for her to just be in random places and like just not in the right spot and like doesn't get on the bed properly and things get fucked up. Like I could totally see it. They showed this air dash a lot and they only showed it down forward, correct? I don't recall seeing down back or up forward at all. Yeah, April 6th, right? So pretty soon. Yeah, I don't think she's involved in the moveset either. She's just walking around in the background with the bed fights. The bed is the character. The next character is not going to be Asuka. It's going to be Book. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll like this character or not. Honestly, I have no idea. But Asuka, if Asuka's a mage, like for real, and is the next character, then there's a good chance I'll like Asuka. I like mages. Mages are cool. That's why I played 9. The other 2 announcements that didn't really have anything like substantial to show, but they said were 2 things. The first thing that they announced is that there's going to be an Arc World Tour this year, 2023. We'll have news on that soon. We don't have any concrete details we can share right now, but there'll be some stuff soon. The other thing is that they announced that they're working on season 3 of Guilty Gear Strive. My expectation is that season 3 will be like, now it's time for new moves or like adding and changing how characters work, interact, and like all kinds of stuff. My guess is it'll be like their big like game defining update. I think this game is like probably a lot more popular / successful than maybe even they expected. It's cool for them. You get to make a season 3. You love to see it. Do we know the announcements before they start the clips? No. Usually, even if we know that there will be announcements, it says like, you know, DNF person announces something. And like, it just says like video plays. We like don't have any info. Now, there was a Capcom Cup, the year they announced Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, where the run of show I got handed, I'm not joking. At the end of the run of show, it says announcement Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, when I saw that, I was like, oh no, this should probably not be on my run of show. Like no one knew. I didn't tell anybody. I was like, I'm just gonna like, pretend I didn't see that. I just like closed the run of show. I was like, all right. And not everybody was there. It was like me and like one other commentator or something. And the other person didn't even look, I don't think. So I was like, well, you know what's funny is I played Soul last night for like maybe 9 games or whatever, but it's so funny to play him after playing Sin. He feels like he's the best character in the game. I was playing Sin versus Nago and I was literally like, I can't, like this shit sucks so bad. I don't have it in me at like 1 o'clock in the morning to win this matchup. I can't do it. So I was like, I'm gonna play Gold Lewis or Soul or something. I don't have that dog in me at this time.